There are stories that connect us to ourselves and to each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. Now, exclusively on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, your hosts, AJ and Natalie.
Hello and hello. I have to say it one more time. Hello, Wanderers. Welcome to Wednesday night, Soul Wanderings night. I am AJ.
And I am Natalie.
And we are your hosts of Soul Wanderings. We're heard live Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain, where we are at. You can find us on live.kgradb.com, as well as KGRA Digital Broadcasting Facebook. Facebook, Rumble, X, Twitch pages live, and you can watch the replays by visiting kgradb.com. And we have a special promo code going right now. If you use Wander, you will receive 30% off of your membership if you want to go into the members only area. It supports the station and our show when you decide to sign up. It's good. It keeps us on air, all of us. And there's so many great shows here on the station. So support them, all of your choosing. They're all pretty good. Miss Natalie, we have a topic tonight.
Yes.
And I don't even know where to begin. There is just so much about this topic. And it's been I wouldn't say heavy on my mind or my chest. I am not in fear of what's to come, but the energy is there and out in the world, and people are talking about it. We're going to be discussing galactic preparedness. So you think about, unfortunately, the natural disasters that are taking place in the world, or even in the US, I should say, because that's where we are at. We know a lot of big things that are happening. People are getting prepared. They're doing the list of things that they need to do in order to be safe, to be secure, to have a future intact somehow. And they're all things that I wouldn't say are common sense, but the community's coming together. They're doing the thing. However, when we talk about being prepared at a galactic level, at a higher frequency level, it's a whole different ballgame. Still things to be done. They just look very differently.
Yeah. It's not like food storage in the basement or extra water.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like that. I wish it was as simple, but it can be a lot more fun, I would say. A lot more fun. It depends on where you're at in the accepting of what is to come. So let's see. Where do we begin? First of all, let me just begin the show by saying, as always, we have thoughts, we have opinions. I do, Natalie does. They don't always go together. Either way, we have our own thoughts and opinions. In no way are they proof or prophecies of what's to possibly come. So if your opinion is different than ours, great. Let's talk about it. These conversations are so important to have. And we all have opinions and thoughts on what is taking place or what's to come or what has even occurred. You can hang out in the chat room. We're at Soul Wanderings on YouTube. We're also under KGRA Digital Broadcasting on Rumble and Facebook, and live.kgradb.com. In case you missed that in the beginning of the show, please chime in. We love the Wanderer interactions. With that all being said, there is a lot of prophecies. There's a lot of psychics, if you will, or even contactees who have said, this is going to happen on this date. Be prepared. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. But all of these people say these things are going to happen at A, B, and C, but they're not telling us what to do. And because the fact that a lot of what is taking place currently and has been taking place, or what is to come, isn't out in the mainstream media, much more than it used to be, definitely. But because so much has been hidden from us, we aren't sure what to do, how to react, how to contribute, or how to participate, or whatever that looks like for us. It is a choice. We all have free will. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And what do we do from here?
I can't wait to hear what you have to offer.
What I have to offer. Natalie, you have a big role in this also.
I'm sure. Just right off the bat, there was one thing that came up for me, just feeling like, in my own experience, is that there are times where things, when we get galactic and beyond just this planet, where there are people whose minds may crack.
Yes.
And that's an aspect, I think, of preparedness, is an expansion of what is possible and what may be true beyond truth. So I want to offer this quote that I heard recently that isn't necessarily exactly, but it is definitely from a like Natalie's perspective that I have to offer, that said, do you know what the difference is between truth and fiction? Fiction has to make sense. So that is an aspect to understand, that when we lean into things that are true, that are beyond, that are maybe beyond a belief structure or belief, then it doesn't necessarily make sense.
No, I agree with that completely. There are so many things that don't make sense. When we become a human, our soul becomes part of this human body. It's just our mind, everything, our memories, our experiences, everything gets wiped clean. And so we don't have this remembering of who we are and what we're capable of. And then we always talk about the conditioning that occurs, but let's put that aside and like really step into the essence of who we are as human beings. We all come from, in my belief, the same place. We're all pieces of this oneness that is God, that is creator, that is universe. And yet, because our memories are wiped clean, we forget, and there becomes this great separation that takes place. And when I say that we are all one and we have this oneness, I'm not just talking about the human race. I'm talking about all races across the board. We all come from the same source. We're just on different timelines. And in my belief, it's not even a matter of past lives. I believe that we are living multiple lives concurrently, all at the same time. And the fact that we believe, well, I doubt anyone here listening to the show believes this, that we are the only race in all of existence is just mind-boggling to me, and quite selfish, actually, and quite entitled. Like, how would you even, like, of all existence, how would you even believe that to be true? I look at the different races, and yes, they're different types of beings. They're different races, just like we have here on Earth. We're no different other than we live in different places and we come from different dimensions. And currently on planet Earth, we are in the third dimension. We have been in the third dimension, but we didn't always begin in the third dimension. There was a big war that took place in the beginning of existence between the Lemurians and the Atlanteans, and totally two different types of beings. But at that time, when we were at war with one another, we went down from a fifth dimension to a third dimension. And the point of us being humans and also saving our planet, one of the points, I should say, one of the purposes is to raise our dimensionality. We cannot exist in a third dimension. It's not a good place for us to be. A lot of people don't even know about dimensions or what the third dimension is, or the fourth or the fifth. And currently we are shifting from the third to the fifth. And everyone says, well, what about the fourth? Well, the fourth is the astral realm. So it's kind of like a short-term dimension, if you will. There's a huge difference between the third and the fifth, and the 4D, the fourth dimension, is like a ladder or like an escalator. It slowly gets us from the third to the fifth. But in order to save our planet and ourselves even, we must shift into the fifth dimension. What's occurring now in our world is tragic from not only a galactic point of view or a spiritual point of view, but even as a human point of view. There's wars. There's always been wars. There's been wars in other solar systems and other places and all the time. There's always wars, right? And no one can ever prepare you fully for a war. But the thing is, there doesn't even need to be a war. If we could all come together in this oneness, in this co-creation space, everything would look a lot different. But I'm going to digress from that a little bit. If you listen to any shows on KGRA, a lot of people will talk about, well, there's contactees, right? So they get abducted, or they see ships or UFOs or UPAs or whatever they're calling them now. I'm telling you, I'm not up to date with the UFO lingo. I do not work in that reality. I don't believe that they're out to get us. I do believe that they are working for us and actually with us. They want us to succeed. They want us to raise our frequency. They want us to shift into a higher dimension. They want to help us save our planet. They're actually really sad with what has taken place here. And they want us to save us from ourselves, basically. And because they are more evolved in their journeys, they're able to do that. There are beings here working with us on the regular. You may even see them and interact with them, not knowing that they are from a different time and space. They're incognito. And a lot of the races that are out in the universe are not what you see in TV and movies. There are those. I mean, we hear of contactees saying that they, like the Greys, when they explain like what they look like, and these more negative entities that are coming in and doing really horrible and horrific things. I believe those things are happening. They do happen in all races. There are malevolent and benevolent beings in all races. We hear about those abductions. We've even interviewed several people on our show about these horrific experiences, but just like humans, they're still evolving themselves. And there are good seeds and bad seeds in all of these races and beings. They may even be thinking the same thing about us. Like, why do we want to connect with humans? They're messy. They're so low vibrational. And how do we protect ourselves from them? How do we prepare ourselves from being damaged because of their carelessness, right? So I think that it goes both ways, most definitely. And I love that we picked the topic galactic preparedness, as if you need to prepare when you're already here with us. But see, so many of us don't believe that to be true, and that's okay. We are where we are. My belief is when you expand your consciousness, you can draw wisdom from other versions of yourself that are consistently taking place concurrently with where you are now as a human. It's all about connection, not just to the other versions of yourself, but to the other versions of races. And I really believe that humans should be initiating contact. It's silly for us not to. And how are we to evolve as a human race if we aren't seeking higher evolved dimensional beings? And how are they to assist us and help us heal our planet and save us from ourselves if we aren't reaching out and making contact? Because we can learn so much from these galactic beings. And like I said, they want to assist us. And I do believe that they are here and are trying in many ways. There's even reports coming out, even as recently as I believe last week. More and more people are seeing these UAPs. They're even getting them on video. They're getting them on photograph. There's witnesses, and they're all surrounding our planet. They are literally just stepping back and observing us. Like, what is our next move? We hear about disclosure, and it was going to happen, I believe, in, I want to say 2012, but don't quote me, I'm not sure. Then it was 2020, and now it's supposed to be 2025. But for sure it will be 2027, right? We hear like it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So there are reports from many different types of people, readers, experiences who have contact directly and indirectly. And we were supposed to have all of this contact, like I said, all of those other times. But I feel like we just aren't ready as a human race. I just feel like we aren't up to par with ourselves as humans, evolutionary or vibrationally or dimensionally. And that's why they're here surrounding us. That's why they're here observing us. And that's why they're here assisting us, so that we can be ready to have that next step where they are actually involved with us, with our knowing, like we know that they're here doing the things with us, right? And I think that when people say, I know you believe 2027, I have gotten that in the records that it's 2027. And I think that's like the very last attempt. Like, if all else fails before then, if we just don't get it right before then, if we don't get things correct, it will hopefully happen by 2027. And if it doesn't, we just have a different ascension process by that time. It's not that it won't happen. It's just going to be a very bumpy road if we don't step up before then. And that's the preparedness that I'm talking about. It's as equally up to them as it is to us. So it's when we all choose together. It's a co-creation. Like I said, they want us to get on board with this co-creation effort as a team, if you will. They're waiting for us to do the inner work. So the healing, the meditation, the daily aspects of making us better versions of ourselves. But there has to be a collective co-creation and opening that all up. And it all you know me, I am one of those people that they call toxic spiritualityists because it's all about the love. It's all about the love. But after having my near-death experience, I know without a doubt, I say that as corny as you may think it is and how cliche it sounds, I will never stop saying it, because I know that that is the highest frequency possible. And so when we have this collective co-creation and opening our hearts, all of this possibility could happen. So if we're able to get that in the manner of doing it by 2025, it really will depend on how ready we are as a human race. It really is up to us. And so that's why I like to say, do what you can, initiate the first contact, because they want to interact with us. It's just like spirit. It's just like our loved ones who have crossed over. They want to be on our side, and they want to support us, and they want us to know that we're not alone. And I feel like the other races are the same. Not all of them, right? We've got good and bad in all races. And I'm not taking away the fact that some people have had some very traumatic things take place. But I'm talking more on the preparedness side, as far as use your discernment, right? You do that with each other. When you feel another energy or feel like another race is in your existence, in your experience, use your discernment. What does your heart say? Is this a good being or a negative being? I'm going to stop here. Do you have something to say? I'm just going on and on. I told you I was all over the place.
No,
when I
actually,
talk about being prepared, I'm talking about being prepared.
I think you have so much information to impart that it just flows from you and flows from you. So I just want to let you know you're tracking well.
Thank you. So I just
oh, it's good. This is the passion. You're so passionate about this. You want people to be prepared. You want people to lighten it up, to let go of the heaviness. So when I don't know
not live in fear.
To not live in fear of the beings.
In fear in general.
In general.
We are so good at fearing what we don't know. But how can you be afraid of what you don't know? You don't know it to be scary or fearful yet, right? But that's the mind that we've talked about.
Right.
That's a whole other topic. But it also is a very low frequency when you're standing in fear. And the whole point of being prepared to have this evolution, to evolve into a higher dimension, is to get rid of those negative frequencies, to just not even have them in your existence, your vocabulary, your day-to-day. Just get rid of them completely.
So some of that requires rescripting, which we've touched on before, and we will touch on it again throughout the shows. Another thing that I just want to put forth in a practical sense, and that's one thing I'm good at, it says, okay, so all those things that you talked about, now how do we walk in that? And I just want to put a really simple concept that said, can you even see yourself being neutral in any situation? Because truthfully, the frequency of neutrality is higher, is in the realm of where we're going. So if you can find yourself to be neutral, and in most aspects, now in the Buddhist tradition, there's this tradition within Buddhism about being equanimous. It's a similar thing. So this ability to, not that you don't care, it's that you're neutral. Let's see where this goes. Let's watch it unfold. That's a practical way to prepare for where it is that we're headed for anyway. And the things that I understand about 2027, we're headed that way. It's like the planet is on a trajectory and we're on board of a ship that's this planet and we're headed through space and we're going somewhere anyway.
Right. But it could already happen and take place like as soon as next year.
It's true, but I want to ask you or posit this comment about disclosure. So when you were talking, I was wondering if disclosure happens, but because it's not mainstream, because not everybody taps into a particular thing, that disclosure happens all the time in various ways.
True.
And we have so many channels of technology and communication and ways to put information into the collective that disclosure doesn't look like everybody gets to read a report that was then distributed through government channels and given out to a particular thing, not one of the popular talking people that has a podcast or a new show or those types of things. Maybe it's on there, but maybe it's in many pockets that certain aspects are being disclosed. So it raises and I want to talk about frequency, like times it occurs, the frequency of these conversations.
So I believe it actually isn't about getting everyone on board with the disclosure and everyone aware at the same time. I believe there are multiple timelines that are occurring all at the same time. And which timeline do you want to choose to be on? Do you want to stay like in this old timeline where everything is hard and dark and depressing and evil and we're being lied to, et cetera, et cetera? Or do you want to shift timelines? Excuse me. Or do you want to shift timelines and have a completely different reality? When I say we have free will, it doesn't just come down to the choices we make every day of being a good person or not. We have choices in everything that we do. We literally create our own reality. And then when I say stuff like that, I always hear, but what about my husband? He's just so negative and he's in this place. And I'm afraid if I decide to raise my vibration or frequency and shift timelines, he's not coming with me. Well, we're talking about you. You have no power or choice over what another human being does. Sure, you want them to shift timelines with you. It doesn't mean they're not going to be in the same current life timeline as you. They will be. Obviously, we're having this human experience together. But as far as your awareness of what is real and what isn't real is going to be shifted. And the people who stay behind in this lower vibrational timeline that we've been in for so many years aren't even going to have an awareness that you've shifted timelines. And if they are energetically, they're going to be so uncomfortable being around you. They will have their own free will and navigate their way out of that existence. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. One thing that I want to bring in as far as practical things with this, let's take that example of someone that said, well, what about my husband? And he's so negative. When we're talking about getting to love, then it's a simple step that said, can you love your husband no matter what he is and how he's acting and how he's behaving? Can you hold your own personal frequency of love with that human? And that's actually the very practical, everyday, routine things that this body of knowledge that maybe seem like you've got to reach for something that's like out of reach and for the stars. No. We're talking about holding the frequency of love as best you can throughout your life.
Right.
And we're going to slip out of that sometimes, but that's simple example. Oh, I love my husband. He's such a grumpy old man, but man, I love that guy. That vibration is so much different than, oh my goodness, my husband is so negative. I just don't know how I'm going to just like leave him behind and all that. No, probably not. Cause you gotta.
Right. Yes. I was going to get to the flip side of that because there's always a flip side, right? There's duality in all things.
Right.
That is part of raising your frequency and your vibrations, accepting what is and who is. It's part of the love frequency, that vibration. So many of us are praying to God or the universe or, whatever you believe in for help for whatever reasons, or even just to communicate. And when we do this, we're able to raise the frequency of the universe. It's part of the co-creator energy that I keep referring to. And it's needed for us to shift timelines. And so if you're able to meet the person where they're at with an understanding, a loving understanding, it doesn't matter where everyone else is on their timeline. All you can control is where you're at. What timeline are you on? However, the end goal is for us to all be able to do this together. If we consciously do this together, we can completely shift the timeline for everybody. And then they're literally forced, if you will, to have a higher vibration because that is the existence in which they are in.
It actually does work. So you and I had this little interaction today with someone that we both know. And
we both know and love so much.
Love so much. And it was interesting, this interaction. This person was not in the highest vibration, just was in a space that she was in. And you and I were holding our space in, not trying to, but it was interesting to see how we both could have an effect to raise that person up just by being as we are, as we practice. And it's as simple as that.
Yes.
That there was this like, oh, and she was laughing and moving through some of the funk that she was in. But she said, oh, you always make me laugh. And laughter is a very high vibration. If we can get someone laughing versus like grumbling, that's the way that I see it in my ways.
I agree with that completely. And I think, it's contagious, right?
Yeah, it is.
How can someone be in that vibration when they're surrounded by people who are in a higher frequency? I mean, just being around them is going to raise their frequency. We as a human race get to decide how these timelines will unfold based on like the ideal pathway or even how we choose to spiritually ascend. But it must be decided as a society right now because it's completely divided. And I feel like how would I say this? Yes, there's a lot more disclosure. There's a lot more people coming forward because it's more safe than it ever was to say, I've been in contact or I am an experiencer, because it's being talked about more, right? It's just before we had to not talk about it or be very selective with whom we talked about it too, because of the stigma that it brought. And not only that, like some really threatening situations could take place for these people who decided to share their experiences. Where now, obviously, the vibration has raised, or our timelines have shifted, where we can talk about these things openly and in more safe environments. We have this station, KGRA. We talk about this stuff all of the time. There are thousands and thousands of people coming out saying, I've had these gifts, I've had these abilities, and now I'm sharing them. Because more and more people are stepping into their power, if you will. I don't really like to say that word, but it really is. Like we all have these gifts and abilities, every single one of us. And it's really stepping into knowing who you truly are, remembering your true essence. And I feel like it's becoming a bit contagious, right? So my head is going in so many directions and I'm trying to narrow it in. We see so much negativity and hate going on in the world, but it also depends on the world that you're living in. Yes, those things are taking place, but you as a human being are the only one that can control your reality, like I said. So what are you doing to control your reality? Are you going out and helping these people? Are you offering assistance in the form of sending money, clothing, helping your neighbor, like even taking out their garbage, like all these little things? The way that we shift our timelines and we come together in this co-creation is a few things. Like I said, remembering our true essence, remembering who we are. And people want to know all of the time, I don't know who I am. I don't know what my purpose is. And when they do that, it's a disconnection from self. So it's really stepping into connecting to self. And you can do that in lots of different ways. Meditation is a really great one. But also you can do things that are easier along the way before you get to that space, because it is a process, you can offer more kindness. You can offer more smiles, more goodness. You obviously love, right? It really does come down to the love. And the thing is being the whole preparedness from my point of view, from a human point of view, and tapping into the records and reading the energy, it really does come down to being prepared in this way of raising your vibration, raising your frequency. They want us to succeed in this ascension, and they are here to support us through that shift. And it's always coming down to love. The love that we are, the love that we have, and the love that we can offer each other.
Including ourselves. The love that we can offer ourselves.
Especially ourselves.
Yeah. That is a good place to start. If you can't do it, you can extend it to other people. It may seem so cliche, like you were saying.
It does feel, every time I talk about love, I know that a lot of people are like, leave live, next video. I can feel it, and that's okay. Some people just aren't ready to hear it or accept it or even receive it. And we get to love them where they are at. And
Right.
It's not that I am right and they are wrong.
No.
I could have this all wrong. But I know in my truth from being in, I learned a lot about NDEs from being able to go into the records that I didn't know before. And I don't believe in NDEs, it's all about dying and coming back to life and having this experience on the other side. There is no other side. Right? And I feel like when you cross over, I'm going to say crossover so people understand, but I think that's a silly term.
You've been somewhere other people haven't been.
You're still you. You have not died. You're still you. And you're even still on your timeline. And I think it's just a shift in consciousness. I don't necessarily think it's a death. But a lot of people like to refer to it as dying because some people do have their hearts stop. Even for hours, which is wild to me. Right? Yeah. The body is so crazy. And these, I just think it's a shift in consciousness, really. And so you have more of an awareness in this arena of a shift in consciousness than you do as a human. It's like the filters get taken off. So you just see and feel things differently. And I really think that's what ascending is all about also.
Definitely.
The
definitely
end result.
A shift. Yes.
Yeah.
Shift
the
in
end
awareness.
Result is to become what we always have been.
Yeah.
Get rid of this. Human existence, human experiences do not have to be so complicated and challenging. And they are because that's what they've been. But that is not the way we can continue to live human lives. And that is why we have all of these other races joining in at this time, literally to save ourselves from ourselves. Because they want that co-creation too. They just, you think of your neighbors. How many of us talk to our neighbors? I think I know one neighbor. I've lived in this house for 3 years, 2 years, almost 3 years. We wave at each other, and I'm sure in a crisis situation, I would guess that we would all come together. I believe that humans are good. I really do. I think we make a lot of really bad choices and a lot of really negative choices that create this reality we're all living in. But just like look at politics, for example, and we won't get into it too much because I don't believe in politics, but they are in our reality. They are very true to what's going on in our climate right now. There are some people who are really in it, and I watch them. I mean, they are so passionate about their hate for another human being. Their hate for another human being. Just feel that frequency for a little bit, even when I say the word hate. It doesn't feel good. And they hate another human being so much that they would be okay if that human being died. They would even celebrate it. What kind of existence is that? It's not one I want to live in, and so I choose not to. That is not my timeline. I'm only aware of that because I have interactions with human beings, and we're not all in the same place. And so as an observer and feeling that energy, I say I want no part of it. It's not that I am oblivious to what's going on in the world. I think it's a great movie. We've got a lot of twists and turns and plot changes and all kinds of things taking place. I love to sit back and be the observer of it all and not put meaning to it, but understand I can only control my part of this reality and my part of this timeline. And we do need the help. We do need these evolved beings to help us. We obviously are not getting it right after hundreds of years since our dimension shifted from the 5 to the 3. We still are not getting it right. So why would we not initiate contact? Why would we not ask for assistance? They want to help us. They are here waiting. They're waiting for that disclosure to take place. Right? And the government's in on it. I mean, the whole Project Bluebeam and all of that sort of situation to create fear and lower the vibration because they don't want us to have the assistance. They want to keep us in this lower, dense frequency so we can be controlled and manipulated.
Right.
But that is not the true essence of who we are as a soul. So what are you going to do to prepare your soul for the ascension? What are you going to do with your soul to prepare for galactic interaction? Do you know what you're going to do?
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I might take a few more pauses listening to you and explore that a little bit. I do feel like throughout my living the way that I've been living over the last decade or so, I've definitely been able to hear the guidance system more than I did before.
Yeah.
In lots of different ways. So I feel like I do hear. And what I've come to understand is it's not like, okay, I've got to go outside and call in a spaceship that's got to land in my backyard and have people walk out of a spaceship, which I think we get some cross contamination or something like that. Whereas the idea that something alien or some other species or consciousness or races, they're going to come in a spaceship. Mm-hmm. They most of it doesn't happen that way. They're the little voices, or it's even been said, because I've had this ringing in my ear for years, that's the communication. Mm-hmm. The communication.
Just fine-tune that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, fine-tuning that. Not hating it, just tuning, not even necessarily tuning in, but not being in resistance to what's trying to come in to my consciousness, while also being discerning and feeling the vibration of things and not allowing things that don't feel like the highest frequency. What is in my highest right and for my highest good?
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do and continue to do.
I love that for you. I love that for all of us to benefit from that goodness. And also, I believe that in addition to the spaceships coming down and humanoids walking out, I believe both are going to occur simultaneously. But I believe that they're here among us already. They're not always green or gray little men, right? Humanoids live in other planets. We have had or are concurrently having in a different timeline lives in Pleiades, in Arcturus, in Lyra, in Vega, and all of these places right now at the same time that we are being a human. I see these timelines in the records. It's unbelievable to me. And when I first saw them, I was just, I don't have a word actually. It was very confusing because what I know to be true was not what I was seeing and feeling. Because we get lied to, right? We've been lied to for so long.
Right.
But all of these things are taking place simultaneously. And there's probably even a version of yourself that is a human here in this timeline, having a different experience. And I know this will feel so far-fetched for so many people. I used to listen to people who are talking like me now and think, wow, I want what you're having. That is whack. And that sounds like a fun trip. No, seriously, I used to judge that and be like, there's no way. These people are crazy. But there are so many timelines happening all at once. It's just mind-blowing. And I think it's interesting also if we want to talk about ships, about UAPs. I just want to know, it takes so many light years to get here from other places, right? We're talking light years, years and years and years and years in our lifetime. And I know a lot of the shows believe that they're taking that long to get here to be in this moment here and now. And then there's other people who are like, no, there's portals, there's wormholes, there's, roller coasters in the sky. I don't know. But I think there's something to be said how they can appear and then disappear just like that. That is not normal space travel. That is not light year space travel.
Right.
Right.
Not
And
like
so
getting in a car and going cross country. That's not
Right.
exactly how space travel evidently works.
Yeah. And we would be really naive to think that everything, like them being more evolved beings would even travel that way. It's just silly. But with that being said, they're in and out of our realities literally all of the time. They have been helping us evolve through all timelines, through all times, through all the years, through all the experiences. Natalie, for all I know, you could be another humanoid from another galaxy in another universe, or I don't know. Like, I'm so entry level when it comes to this. All I know is what I see when I go into the records or what I feel in my heart to be true. And like I said at the beginning, it's just my opinion, my point of view. But I really believe in order for us to be prepared is to expand our consciousness so that we can draw that wisdom from other versions of ourselves, from other places that have been through all of this before. And go in your backyard and ask them to present themselves to you. I have not had success with doing that yet in that way. But I have had other beings show up in the records and share with me. They come to me in my dreams, and I don't believe dreams are just a mental activity. Our dreams tell us and share with us so much. And I travel at night. I know some people know that about me. I know people in my daily life know that about me. I receive messages throughout the night, keep a book, And I share with whomever I feel like the message is intended for as I see them. And I have not had physical, like in this human experience, interaction with another being, but definitely I know that I am doing work in many different places. At the same time, I'm having this human experience. I know that to be true with every fiber of my being. As crazy as that may sound to a lot of people, I'm so overcaring about that. And everyone else who is worried about it, let's commit to each other to stop caring about it too. Because what is important is what is here and now in our reality, in this timeline. And the only way that we're going to co-create with all of these other galactic beings and other human beings is to open our heart and expand our consciousness and to remember our true essence, like I said, remember who the hell we are, and offer more kindness and offer, whatever you can in the highest form of love and vibration that you possibly can for somebody. Even if all you can muster as a human being for the day is a smile, you never know who needed that. You never know. And just raising their vibration by acknowledging their existence is also going to help raise the vibration so that we can shift into these higher dimensions where we can interact and co-create knowingly and willingly with other beings.
Bravo.
Right?
So good.
You guys, I'm so excited for what's to come. Living in fear is not the way to go. There's nothing to be afraid of. Having discernment and having love in your heart are the biggest tools that you need for what's to come. They want us to be afraid. And when I say they, the forces at play, but there is no need for fear because we are supported and we are loved beyond measure. And we actually have the biggest cheerleading group possible that you could ever imagine supporting us out in our universe, waiting to interact with us fully, not behind the scenes. And I'm really excited for that to come. And I believe it will happen in our lifetime, no doubt.
Oh, it's happening. Like it really is happening.
It's happening already. It's happening right now.
I've watched you, and really quickly, but I've watched you throughout the last year. You've really done some cosmic shifts, no pun intended, by what you got inspiration or you got instruction, however that worked for you, and you followed through on those directions and you educated yourself, put your energy towards certain things, which created this cosmic shift in you. That's what we're asking everyone to do.
Thank you. Yes, do it. Do the work. It's worth it. And if you guys have any questions, comments, topic requests, or anything else, email us at connect@soulwanderings.com. Unfortunately, time is up, you all. We need to go. But we'll see you all next week. Until then, good night.
Have a good one.